Hey everyone, this is Mary from SVGCuts, and I'm here today with some really fun baby projects. And I've made a plain diaper cake in the past, a long time ago, before I started with cutting machines and everything. So diaper cakes have been around for a while, and you might have made one yourself. They're so fun to bring to a shower because obviously the mom-to-be can use the diapers when she, gets home and undoes it. And it's an awesome centerpiece. It's like the talk of the shower. You can make one for every table or just the head table or bring one as a guest. So gotta love diaper cakes. This one actually uses 70 diapers. And Leo went out and he got these diapers. I wanted the 3-month-old size diapers because I know that some babies are born, I've heard, too big for newborn stuff, and plus 3 months is a good size, I thought, so that your mom-to-be could enjoy it for a while and then take it apart and use the diapers. So all the information about specifically which diapers to get is in the PDF, or if you want to get a different size, you can still adapt it to work with whatever size you want to get. So I will show you how this goes together in just a minute, but it's nice and festive and cute because of the towers on it, which make it look like a pretty castle, as well as this front part here. And I glued it, or I didn't glue it down to the base, but it's on a base, which I put together by just gluing 5 pieces of chipboard together with a piece of 12 by 12 paper on the top, just to make it easier to pick up and transport, wherever you want to take it. So you can pick it up without the base if you want to, it's totally fine, but it just makes it a little more sturdy. And I was thinking if you didn't want to do that as the base, you could also get some kind of like platter if you have one, or just like a plastic platter at the party store or something. So that is a lot of fun, and I also think that you could adapt it to a boy. Just because it's a pink castle doesn't mean it couldn't work for a boy if it was, blues and browns and greens, or if you're not sure about the gender, it could be yellow and green or something like that. So that is really fun, and I can't wait to see yours if you make one. So we also have a cute little bottle, which would also be a nice shower decoration or a shower gift, at the shower, or it doesn't have to be a shower, it could just be a gift for someone that you know. And that would be really fun to fill up with some goodies as a gift, or, some candies and on each table at a shower, and maybe have a little drawing for someone to take it home at the table or whatever. So that is a lot of fun, as well as our cute little crib box card. And this is cool because it folds flat to go inside the envelope, but then it also pops out, which is a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with box cards lately. They're super cool because they're so dimensional, but of course they fold flat, which is really nice too. So we also have a nice little simple card. Sometimes it's nice to have just a really simple, quick card you can whip together. And of course, it doesn't have to be for a baby. That could be for a lot of other different occasions too. And finally, we have a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. And again, this doesn't have to be for a baby. You could adapt this to something else if you do something different, instead of the little booties there. So if you have a 12 by 12 scrapbook page going, you could make this to put in it, or if you want to start one, it's a lot of fun. Everyone has extra baby pictures laying around. I know I definitely do, so hopefully that comes in handy if you're into scrapbooking. So the paper that I used this time is by Echo Park, and it's super cute. This is the girl version of Bundle of Joy, but there's also a boy version. So it's nice and colorful, but still pretty pastel and super cute, and love it. So it also comes with some fun stickers and some smaller paper pads and some cute little brads. So that was a lot of fun to work with for this project, but of course there's plenty of other really cute baby paper out there, or as long as it's mostly pastel with maybe some chocolate brown or gray, that could definitely work for a baby project too. So I've got all my pieces cut out to show you how these 3 items go together, so let's get started. So first let's start off with our box card, and I went ahead and glued all my little embellishments onto my main pieces, and the main pieces are the insert that goes in the front, and the insert 1 and insert 2, and then the main body of the box card. So I went ahead and glued all these cute little things on here. This white on the back, that ends up on the back if you want to stamp something, or if you just want to write, to so-and-so from me, you can. And then the background layer here goes on the back side. So once you've got all your pieces glued together, And also, for these inserts, when you look at the PDF that's included in your download, it also shows how these are laid out too, if you have any questions about where things are supposed to go. And you want to make sure that this panel here goes on this piece with the baby bottle on it, because that's going to show through the little railings or whatever. So first we can grab our main piece here, and we just want to put some glue on this side tab. And just a nice little thin even layer, making sure that the glue goes out to those little corners. And then glue that together. And before it's completely dry, maybe just do a double check and make sure that it's folding flat properly. And as you can see, this little piece in the front here just folds over also. And now we can just grab our front insert piece and put some glue along the bottom. And that just gets glued right inside. And then for this next insert piece, we want these tabs folded towards you, and pop some glue on those, and then put it so the top of it is flush with the top of your crib, and so that the front of those tabs are flush with the front of the crib. Kind of helps to look at it from a few different angles here. And I think I've got it placed nicely, but before it's dry, I want to do a check by folding it flat both ways to make sure that it's going to fold right, and it will. And then just the same thing with the other insert, except the tabs are folded away from you, like this. And that's going to go the same way, just right into the back side. And again, the top of it is flush with the top of the crib. And the back sides of those tabs are flush with the back of the crib. And again, just want to make sure that it's going to fold properly, because if it's off a little bit, it won't want to fold flat. And I forgot to draw my little eyes and nose on my bear, which would have been easier when it was flat. But as you probably can't see in this video, but if you look closely at your bear, there are some little guidelines on his face that your machine will have cut, so that you can just carefully fill those in. Except I'm doing it in the air while it's together, so mine is a little bit screwed up. Maybe I'll cover those up later with some little doodads or something. So there we go, box card all done. So now for our bottle, I've got the main pieces of the bottom of the bottle laid out here. So I'm going to take off the lid. We're going to do the lid next, but first we're just going to put together this bottom part, but without the embellishment. So for that, I've got 6 main pieces here, which are identical to each other. And then we've got the bottom, which is actually a patterned piece, as well as the same pattern for the little panels. So to glue this together, it's nice and simple. We want to go ahead and fold all of these areas that are scored, except up here at the top, we want this one folded like this. So once you've got each of them folded, folded like that, we can go ahead and put some glue on each of these tabs. Just a nice little thin, even layer of glue going all the way out to the corners if possible. And then grab another piece. Doesn't matter which one since they're all identical. And just line up that first tab and give it a little bit of a chance to dry, and move on to the next tab. And this has a little bit of a curve right here, so even though it's not scored right here, it just curves a little bit. and just work your way up until you get to the top. So go ahead and do that with all 6 pieces. So now I've got glue on my final set of tabs here. I'm just closing this up, and it's the same exact process as before. Nothing new here, just closing it up and just lining it up as best I can. If it's not 100% perfect, it's still gonna look awesome, so don't stress out. So there is the main part of our bottle, and now I can start to put these guys on. So to do that, I just want to put a nice little thin line of glue around the edge, maybe around the inside edge. Doesn't really matter too much how you put the glue on. And then we just want to center it down here with a nice even border going around, as well as up top. So as you can see, it's just centered on there. So you want to go ahead and put all 6 of those panels on. Then you can flip it over, cover all these panels with glue going all the way out to the corners, and then grab your bottom piece and pop that into place and adjust it so that it's lined up nicely. Then for the lid of the bottle, we've got these pieces here. There are 6 again, since there are 6 sides. And they're all the same except for one of them has the little top on it. And then we've got 6 panels that go onto those to cover them up and make it look a little bit smoother, as well as 6 pieces that look like this and 2 like this. So let's go ahead and start to glue these guys together. And to do that, I just want to put a nice thin layer of glue on both of those side tabs. And just go one at a time, give it a little chance to dry, and then glue the next one. So go ahead and do that with all 6 of these little pieces. So I've got all 6 of my pieces together, and now I want to put a nice little thin layer of glue on all of these top tabs, going all the way out to these little corners as much as possible. And then we can grab our open shape like this and carefully pop that on top, lining it up as perfectly as possible. And we can flip it over onto a flat surface and press down from the inside to make sure that all those little tabs are flat. So the next thing we can do is start to put these guys together. And as you can see, each little scored segment is folded, except the third one down from the top here is folded like this, as well as the bottom one down here is folded like this. So once you've got all of those going in the same direction like that, we can start to glue them all together one at a time. So once again, I've got all of those side tabs with glue on them. And as usual, I'm just going to start at the bottom, give it a chance to dry, and then work my way up each tab, giving each tab a chance to dry as I go. So go ahead and work your way around with all 6 pieces. I've got all 6 of my pieces glued together here, and I'm just closing up this final seam. And then the next thing we can do is put a little dot of glue on these little top tabs, and then fold this guy over and center it as good as possible. So the next thing we can do is slide this up through the other piece that we just created. So to do that, I want to put a short line of glue on each side of the opening, and then pop that through. And if you've got the edge of a table, you can set it on each side and push down from the inside, which I'm going to do right now, except, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, just to get those all flat. And then to cover up all this stuff on the inside, we can put our other six-sided shape inside like this. And all the sides are equal, so it doesn't matter which way you put it in. And again, if you want to set it on the edge of your table and push down on all six sides to secure it, that is a good idea. So finally, the last thing we can do is take each of these 6 pieces and cover the back side with a thin layer of glue, and then carefully line it up, centered, right flush with the bottom, and get it to take a little bit of hold, and then just carefully place it all the way up to the top. So that just creates more of a smooth surface. So go ahead and do that all the way around, and then your bottle's done. So now for the diaper cake, the first thing you want to do is make your towers. So there are 4 towers that are the same, and then there's one that's a little bit shorter, which goes at the top. So we've got, to make the tower, I've got my 2 diapers, my 12-inch dowel. It can be, as long as it's thin, about less than 1/4 of an inch this size, or smaller, that's fine. They don't even all have to be the same. And then my tower wrap. So to do that, I'm going to just place my dowel inside the diaper and roll it up. Now it's not super tight, but it's like firmly wrapped up. And then I will just put 1 piece of tape to tape it up, and then I will do the same thing with the second diaper. So since there are 5 towers and there are 2 diapers inside each tower, that's 10 diapers that make up the towers. And since this diaper cake uses 70 diapers, 70 minus 10 for the towers is 60. So that means you're gonna, in a minute, we're gonna individually roll up 60 diapers. But first, let's finish our tower. And now all I wanna do is wrap this around. And you can kind of see here where the tab is. So I want to put glue there on this whole tab, and then just for good measure, also a line along this edge on the inside. So I'm making it nice and snug and lining it up nicely. And this whole side of it is going to be hidden, so if you kind of get some glue on the outside, or maybe it looks a little funny, that is okay because it's going to be hidden. So you want to go ahead and make four more just like this, and then the 5th tower has a slightly shorter dowel, which is 10 inches long instead of 12 inches long. And all this information is in your PDF in your download. So here are my 5 towers, and the only difference is this one, which is the center top tower, has a slightly shorter dowel. So as you can see, I decorated them with some safety pins, and when you go to glue your safety pin on, it kind of helps if you can kind of push it onto a curved surface like a pen or a marker, just to give it a little bit of a curve, and then put the glue on it and then put it on. It just makes it easier to glue on. So I've got this decoration on here. You don't need to worry about that until the end. So now let's roll up the rest of our diapers. I'm going to set my towers aside, and now I've got 60 diapers left for my castle, and all I'm going to do is just roll it up firmly, not super tight, but not loose, and just put a nice piece of tape and go ahead and roll up 60 more of these diapers. And then to start building our top layer, I'm going to take my center tower, which has the 10-inch dowel, and I'm going to take 6 diapers and put 6 of them around it. And it's kind of nice if you, where the excess of the diaper is, if that part is facing in, that will make your cake look more finished. And then you can take a rubber band, or if you don't have rubber bands laying around, you can take a long piece of string or embroidery floss and wrap it around and tie it. Either way. So there is our first layer. So now for my next layer, I've got 6 in the middle, just like we did before, except with no tower. So there's just 1 in the center with 6 around it. And I tied this one with string because I'm running out of rubber bands. Either way, rubber band or string is fine. And then we want 12 around the outside, including 2 towers. So that leaves 10 diapers, 10 single diapers, and then the 2 towers. So that's 6 in the back, 4 in the front, and 2 towers on the side. And then once those are standing up well enough, and again, if you want your excess diapers facing into the cake, it will look more finished. And then we can take if you have, a helper nearby and a big enough rubber band, you can take 2 people to put a rubber band around. Or if you want to take some string and just carefully wrap that around, you can do that also, which is what I'm going to do right now. And the string will be covered up by a band of paper. So it doesn't matter what your string looks like, basically. So I'm just tying this in a nice double knot and trimming off the excess. And there is my second layer. So now for the bottom layer of the cake. Again, it is 6 in the middle, which I secured with a rubber band or string. And then I added 12 around that, which I secured with a rubber band. And then we want 16 around that, plus the towers. So we want, in the front, we want 6 diapers. So I've got the front here facing me, I've got 6 diapers, and then space for the 2 towers, and then the rest of those diapers going around. So once again, I will take some string and get it close to the middle and tie that nice and snug with a double knot. So at this point, once I trim off the excess there, at this point I can put the bands on each layer. So I'm going to grab my middle layer here, and I've got the bands for the middle layer. And if you are using, just like it says in your PDF, in your download, if you're using the same diapers as me, which are Pampers size 3 months, you can use these bands because they should be just the right size. But if you are using a different size diaper, there's an extra in your extras folder that is just simply a rectangle that's 2.5 inches high, because these bands they're all 2.5 inches high. So you can cut that with your machine if you want, or of course you can just use a paper trimmer and cut strips of paper 2.5 inches high and wrap it around your project and trim off any excess. Whatever is easier for you is totally fine. It's just a 2.5 inch wide strip of paper that goes around each layer. So you can use the SVGs if you want. You could use the extra in the extras folder, the rectangle, if that would be easier, or just a plain old paper trimmer. So I glued those 3 pieces together. That's the middle band. There's also a band for the top layer and the bottom layer, but this is the middle of my cake. And I'm just snugly wrapping it around. It doesn't have to be super tight, but as long as it stays up, that is perfect. So go ahead and put your bands around your bottom and your top layers. So I've got my bands around each of my layers of my cake, and we've also got this front door part which goes onto the bottom, which I've already glued on, but you can see that the front door is just these pieces, and I went ahead and embossed the top layer of the front door. So you want to glue this right onto the front of your cake. You could do this, later at the end if you want to, or right now, either way is fine. And then glue the front door on when it's already on. Because what I'm saying is if you glue the front door to this bottom piece first, and then you go to put it on, sometimes the paper doesn't want to curve nicely with glue between the layers. So go ahead and put this part on now, and then we can start to layer our cake. So just pop the middle layer there in place. And I'm missing a safety pin, but we'll just ignore that for now. And then go ahead and put this guy on. So you can see there's a ribbon on this layer. You can put the ribbon on before you layer it, or right now you could put the ribbon on. Doesn't really matter. And then you can see this seam right here, so if you want to kind of slide anything around so that some seams are hidden, you can do that. And now all that's left to do is put our towers in place. So I've got just one tower here. They all pretty much work the same. I've got all 5 of the towers are identical, and I've got my panels on my tower. So they're all 5 of them, again, are identical, so they go together the same way. So you want to go ahead and put your panels on all 5 of your towers, and then glue them together like this. And I'm going to lay this down flat on my table so I can push from the inside, and there's my cute tower. So now all that's left to do is put them in place with some hot glue. So what I want to do before I get my glue out is the bottom of the tower is going to be flush with the top of the diaper. So right now my dowel is a little bit too short, so I just want to pull it out so that it's level with the top. Then I can get my hot glue and put a nice little dollop of hot glue on there and put my tower in place. So I want to go ahead and do that with the other 3 bottom towers. And then for the top, my tower comes down past this little pink point. So I want to make sure that my dowel is level with the top of my roof. And then again, put a little dollop of hot glue and slide that final tower into place. So there you have it, super fun baby projects. I hope you have a blast making them for someone who's having a baby or a shower. If you do, you'll definitely have to share pictures on our Facebook wall or on your blog, pin them on Pinterest, put them on Instagram, and hashtag SVGCuts. We always love to see your projects, and so do the rest of our crafty friends. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting!
Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content with you in the middle. SVGCuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.